cyst on your ovaries, cyst on your ovaries, cyst on your ovaries, and cyst on your cocks. Welcome back. Glad you made it. It's another social production. Thank you for joining me once again. It is March the 11th, 2026. Wherever you're tuning in from, whether it's Canada, mi familias, further down south, the beautiful United States of America, all 50 states, further down south, beautiful Mexicos, even more beautiful than the Mexicos. Not to say that Mexico's not beautiful, but further down south, South America, titties are all out, all the way down to Peru, and then back up to Brazil, where the tits are again still out. Over there, hopping over in Africa, tits and vag, and probably a little bit of cock. You might find it that they may be out. Most of them are in, but some of them are out. Doesn't matter. Europe, Asia, Africa, back together. We said Africa again already. Doesn't matter. The point is, wherever you're tuning in from, New Zealand, Australia, Papua New Guinea, North Sentinel Islands, it's just Venezuela, back to South America, over there in Finland, the Finnish people, the Swedish people, my people from the friggin' Poland, the Polish, over there, Austria, the Austrians. You always, not to be mistaken with the Australians, I think they got beef, not quite sure. A couple of missing letters or too many letters, doesn't matter. Some people say that they're the same population, they're the same country, some people say that. Doesn't matter, neither here or there. Thank you for joining me once again. Let's get right into it. I hope if you do have a cyst on your ovaries, I hope they clear up. And if you got a cyst on your cock, fucking laser that shit before it takes over. Let's get a sip of this shit. Again, if you're just joining us today, if it's your first time, buckle up, buckle down. All right, if you've been with me from the get-go, thank you for all the love and support, sending it right back to you. And if you'd like to maintain your cysts, then don't do anything about it. Let's get right into it, ladies and gents. Lots of stories to discuss, lots of fun to be had. Where do we even begin? TGI Fridays. That's right, a beautiful waitress in TGI Fridays. I'm starting off with a beautiful story. This type of story does not get mentioned often. So I'd like to take the time to highlight it a little bit with you guys and gals out there. I forget the beautiful lady's name. I do apologize to my sister from TGI's Fridays. She's a waitress and she was working, you know, as a waitress, she was working, handing you your food, taking your orders, not spilling drinks. And guess what? She did something that was beautiful that, again, I'd like to take a moment to highlight and encourage all of you. And I say it out loud so I hear it myself because I want to be doing similar stuff. I might have already been doing similar stuff, but nonetheless, what did she do, Rob? You're asking, glad you asked, thank you. She was in a mid-shift. I actually don't know that. She could have just started her shift. It could have been towards the end of her shift. She could have been tired. But nonetheless, she's doing her job. Next thing you know, what has she noticed? One of yous walked in. One of yous, you know what I'm talking about. You and the plus ones. You and you and your mini-me. I'm talking about a lady with a babe. A little baby, a little wee baby, a little tiny baby. You know, not a fetus, not one that's inside. Not an embryo, not an egg, it was a full-grown baby. It was like a 2, 3, 4, 5. I don't know the age of the baby. It doesn't matter how old the baby was, to be honest with you. But nonetheless, you know what I'm talking about. You showed up, all right? Tits of, the child was old enough. I don't think the child was old enough to be breastfeeding at that. Have you stopped lactating is the question that we all asked when we saw it, because it was a stressed child. We saw a stressed child, all right, in the video. Stressed child. And the waitress, whom I forget her name, it doesn't matter. The point is, she saw the stressed out child and she went above and beyond. She picked up the baby. She walked the baby around. I think was it a TGI Fridays at an airport? Maybe it was an airport. I think it was an airport. TGI's Fridays. So that's the airports. They're hectic. Babies, not made for airports. Weak babies that barely, they can barely tolerate inside their own homes or at the park. They throw tantrums and fits at the park. So you can only imagine what it's like to take a child to an airport, get stressed out and starts, the crying, crap in their pants. But nonetheless, a hero showed up. And again, not all heroes gape. Then that's the truth. And this lady picked up this baby, walked the baby, the child baby, the infant's baby, not an infant, but a 2, 3, 4. I don't know the age of the baby. Quit focusing on how old the baby. It was a youngin. It was a wee bit baby. All right. It could have been a midget. Actually, I don't know. It could have been legit. It could have been a midget, which again, they too throw tantrums at the airports. Nonetheless, this lady picked up the child, walked the child around. played all little, and she was fucking, she was talented. You could tell she was talented. A lot of how you say in French, clivage. All right, that's French for right in between the titties, right there. So the child was focusing on not even knowing what he's looking at. Again, too young, or again, it could have been a full-grown midget. Don't know. Nonetheless, staring at the cleavage, soothed the baby, calmed the baby down. People found out because they saw the video. Somebody recorded her, put it on the YouTubes or somewhere online. So it got attention. It went viral. People started reaching out and started raising money for this young woman who's a hero. Again, a hero who took the time to spend a little bit of extra time with this child and calm him down, so that he can have a little bit of a peaceful time, and so could his mother, and so could the rest of the entire international airport. All right, so shout out to this lady. And again, this is just one of those stories, because we always hear about this, that, and the other. If it's not, if it doesn't have that, tell us about somebody who got stabbed in the eye. If it's not that type of story, it doesn't get as much traction. And we'll get to the stabbing in the eye. There wasn't one in this particular, there's no stabbing in the eye story today, but you know what I mean. It's just like, did he not get decapitated? Show me the decapitation video. It's not that type of programming. Not today anyway. It could be on Friday. You never know what happens. But the point is, this is amazing. Shout out to this lady. And again, it inspired me to do the same thing. And all I said to myself, I'm like, Rob, listen, you got to, take initiative. Go out there. If you see a child and a mother in distress, what do you need? You need to go out there and help. So things that you need to do: find a mother and a child who are stressed out, and also have a camera handy. Important, extremely important. Have a camera handy. I told myself that. I'm like, this is crazy, because it's beautiful. You're helping. People like it. Stressed out mother and child leads to viral video. Catch it. Make sure you catch it. There's no point of doing it if there's no cameras. I'll tell you that right now. Nope. So I had to write that down. And I highlighted it, underlined it, highlighted it. Bring camera along while you're going out there and rescuing this stressed out mother and her stressed out child. It's been tough, I had to go out there and search. It wasn't easy to find a stressed out mother and child, but I took initiative. I try to, did I find a mother who was in distress? No, not necessarily. Did I try to, and I want to keep it organic. Did I create an atmosphere where there could potentially be a mother in distress? That maybe, yes. Did I, if you can't find them, create them. That's what and so again, you just go out in the evening, and I tried that several times. Went out there in the evening, and I hung out in some dark alleys waiting for a mother and a child to, come out and pass through the dark alley so I can hop out, scare them, retreat, put on different clothes, get in there, have a fist fight with myself in the shadows, save the baby, catch it on camera, upload it, and did it cause just more stress for the alleged mother and child? Yes, it did. The stressed out child was frightened, and so was the mother. Did I run away immediately? Yes, of course I did. But that is, again, not all heroes are gaping or gape. What do they say? Not all heroes wear capes and do gaping. Gapes. Not all heroes gape. That's what they say. So yeah, did I freak out a mother and a child? That was just one instance. There was another instance at a local shopping center where I saw a mother and a child. They weren't stressed by any stretch of the imagination, but again, I saw something good. I'm like, we should have more of this. So I low-key, when the mother wasn't paying attention and the child was sitting in the shopping cart, I did try to just go and try to attempt to just not kidnap the child, but just scoot over here for a second, maybe cry a little bit. All right, Jim, little Jimmy, cry a little bit, throw a fit so that daddy can hop in, retreat, come back in a different outfit. Again, create an area where it's not great lighting, have a fist fight, shadowbox myself, save the lady and her distressed child, catch it on camera, upload it, go viral once again, escorted out by security. It didn't go out the way I wanted it, but it's more the intention. It is more of the intention. It's what matters. So what I'm trying to tell you is, if you are a mother and a child who are prone to being in stress and getting all frantic, holla at your boy. If you're good with the camera as well, because I do need to catch it on, I'll bring my own equipment, and it's not much, it's not anything fancy, but let me know if you work the camera, we can, make something happen. Nonetheless, shout out to this lady, I forget her name. Nonetheless, check it out, TGI Friday, waitress saves the day. Give her some monies, and yeah, go look what I did. Go help a mother and a child in distress. Don't be all like, oh, it's rare that these occasions come up. Create them. Didn't stop me. Am I banned from a few places? Maybe, sure. But again, it's the intention that counts. All right, so just have to get that out of the way on a positive note. And here we are. Let's get a sip of this shit. Grabbed a few kids. I'm like, come with me. He's crying. The little kids are crying, mommy. I'm like, oh, that's too much. Trying way too much attention to yourself. And what's happening here? All right, tone it down. These kids, I tell you, hard to work with. They say that it's hard to work with animals and kids, and it's true. It is. I'm learning on the job, of course, but nonetheless, if you haven't bit me, I kicked them though. Don't worry about it. I kicked them in their tiny shins. And they cried more, and I had to again retreat. Once again, it's gonna be it's a long game. I'll find them. Don't worry. This one caught my attention. New Jersey man, Stephen Murrow, all right? He's a climber. He's a professional climber, and he was in New Jersey because that's where he's from. Born and bred and buttered in New Jersey. Put bread and then spread the butter when you're born. Give a man a slice of bread and butter it. Born and bred in New Jersey, Stephen Murrow. He's a climber. I don't know if he does anything else outside, but he's a professional climber. Nonetheless, he was in New Jersey. He saw this. He heard something. Initially, he heard something. Like, mew mew. Mew. And those are authentic cat noises, so do not be alarmed. I just impersonated a cat. I'm going back to my. It's your boy. It's not, you're not having a seizure. You're not having a mental breakdown because I just mewed and you're like, I did not see any cats in this video, but that mew was fucking spot on. How do you impersonate animals so well, Rob, you ask? And we don't have time to discuss these minor issues. The point is that he heard the mew. I'm talking about Steve Murrow, all right? And he got his climbing gear. He's like, I see you stuck up on the tree, little cat, little puss. Little puss, he said that. He's like, a little puss, I'm about to help you out. And he climbed the tree, like a little climber. Climbed the tall tree, forget the type of tree, maybe it was an oak tree. Maybe it was a palm tree. And shut your filthy trap here. There's no palm trees in New Jersey. You don't know Steve Murrow and his reach. He could have palm trees planted in New Jersey, and for all you know, okay, fine, it wasn't a palm tree. All right, go ahead. Be a cock block with you got to get the facts straight. Was it a palm tree? It wasn't a palm tree, right? There are no palm trees in New Jersey. But nonetheless, it was a tall tree. Was it a willow tree? I don't know. Evergreen? Wasn't an evergreen. Maple? I don't know, to be honest, but I'm not a treeologist, all right? Despite the fact that I spend a lot of time in nature, I'm not a tree pervert. I'm not going up there and sniffing trees and trying to look inside their, the tree, trying to finger the tree to see how many rings it's got. I'm not, back off is what I'm trying to tell you. I'm trying to tell you a story about a New Jersey man who went up on a tree and climbed all the way to the top, got this little puss, put the puss in the cat, climbed all the way down, rescued it. The moral of this story is I'm sick and tired of this. This needs to end. It's 2026. It's 2026, all right? Let's apply this and make this happen. I know there's a lot of issues going on in and around the world, but it's little tiny steps, one step at a time. We nip it in the bud together. If you see something, climb up on a tree. If it climbs up a tree, but it can't get down on its own, hot take, I'm just gonna go out on the limb and say it. Leave it be, all right? It's 2026. We've had thousands, hundreds of thousands, if not millions of animals, people, objects climbing trees and hoping for someone to come along and save them. I've had enough. Now, despite the fact that this was beautiful, I don't want to see it anymore. You leave that cat be. Sure, little tiny puss today, it will grow up to be a mid-sized cat tomorrow. It'll probably be a little bit more, on the smaller, but nonetheless, it'll grow on the tree. Leave the cat on the tree, okay? Let it be a message to all the other cats who climb trees, and let this be a message to all the other animals out there. If you climb a tree, you can't get down, use on your own, all right? Same with humans. If you can't get down, do not go up. If you climbs it, but you can't get downs, you stays ups. That's what I'm trying to tell you. So again, fine. This time we'll let it go, but leave the animals up on the trees. You're like, what about my grandma if she climbs the tree? Leave grandma and her wrinkly ass up on the treetop so she learns her lesson. You're like, what about my retarded uncle? What if he climbs the tree? Sometimes my retarded uncle does that. Leave his ass up there so he'll learn. At least for a few days, at least for a few weeks. Don't do it immediately, all right? And this was a cat. What happened to cats bouncing literally off of anything? We've seen videos of cats being dropped from outer space and just bouncing up and down, and not maybe losing one, and they got spare lives, 9 lives, and you're going up there risking your own life, all right? Making the rest of us look lazy, all right? Getting all the puss within the vicinity, all right? Stephen Murrow, okay, we get it. All right, professional climber, we get it. But maybe leave some puss for the rest of us. Jesus Christ. Shout out to everybody out there, I guess. Welcome back. Thank you for joining. I just had to get that off my chest. Yeah, if you can't get down, do not go up. That's Einstein said that. Einstein, when he did that goofy ass picture of him sticking out his tongue, he says like, if you can't get down, don't go up. And then he stuck out his tongue, and that's the famous picture of Einstein. Rumor has it his friends got him a dildo, and he actually sat on a dildo, and that's why he stuck out his tongue. Look it up. All right, ladies and gents, it's the cyst on your ovaries, Sure it hurts, but life must hurt just a little bit so that you know when it's good times. Hello, it's your boy. What are we even talking about? That's right, Vladimir Putin, the president of the Russias, the communist Russia, was just doing an interview. He was doing a little segment. I guess he was going to go out there and give a little speech to the women's, because it's, and we'll get to that later. It's International Women's Day. He was about to go give a speech to the women's, to the bitches out there, holding it up. But then he started coughing, right? Typical Vladimir Putin style coughing. He starts coughing, about to give the speech. I gives the speech. I Vladimir Putin, I go give you bring the speech writer, I give the speech with what is the topic of discussion today. We give the speech, and he starts coughing. Coughing like that. And people want to, and it got released, the video got released. I suppose sometimes when instances like this happen, they don't release the videos because you got to, uphold the image of the, mighty leaders. Overall, globally speaking, leaders must be fucking strong, hard, rock hard, always on blue chew, and maybe a little bit of who knows what else. Doesn't matter. The point is, strong imagery goes a long way. In this instance, somebody put the video. We see him coughing, and the question on the internet is it just an innocent cough? Is it just a little tiny little cough? Okay, because he's had a long day or whatever, or are you bitches ready for this shit? Innocent cough. Or is it the AIDS cough? Does Vladimir Putin have AIDS? Because why else would he be coughing? I believe, ladies and gentlemen, this may, some of the skeptics may look at this and be like, this is just an innocent video of an innocent man just coughing innocently. No big deal. You've coughed. I know an AIDS cough when I sees it. And if you've not seen the video, check it out. He points to his throat like this, and no one points to their throat unless it's AIDS, dude. So he's pointing. Next thing you know, assistants around him in Russian are saying, would you like some water to, and he's like, no, and he keeps pointing to his throat. That's indicating water's not gonna cut it. This isn't your everyday innocent cough. This is AIDS cough. As a matter of fact, if you got the AIDS cough, applying water to your cough will actually make the AIDS more severe. It'll actually increase the AIDS. It'll be more AIDSy. It'll be just like, be like, oh, look, I'm wet AIDS. And that's the worst kind of, you want to keep that AIDS dry. At least he knows that. At least he knows to keep the AIDS cough dry. It's contagious. Keep away from him. It's the weakening of the communist regime. You see it happening right in front of your 5 eyes. All right, right in front of all your, you see it. It's sad, but it's the same. We've seen it. We've seen it in movies. That's how it went down. Tom Hanks, Philadelphia, AIDS cough, and then next thing you know, not even Denzel can save Tom Hanks because he has AIDS and he coughed to death. I forget how he died, to be honest. And it is, by the way, you heard me right. It's Denzel. It's not Denzel. It's actually Denzel. There's a clip. I recently saw this it's actually been some time, but not. It's actually Denzel, not Denzel. Yeah. So I just learned you something. You're welcome out there. And yeah, So to conclude, breaking news: Putin has AIDS and he's coughing. So there you have it. It's a matter of days. Probably from all the gay sex, probably, right? In the 80s. Who knows? Allegedly. Bathhouse gay sex in the bathhouse. They do it. It's typical. It's typical. Get to a certain level, there's nothing else that'll, rock your socks. So it's bathhouses and AIDS. You'd actually only want to have sex with people who have AIDS because you got to fucking, again, it's not even about the gay sex at that, but it's like who's got the most, severe ailment, which AIDS is nothing at this, but nonetheless, he'll get on medication for it. It's not gonna, nothing's gonna happen, but he does have AIDS. I just want to clarify, he does have AIDS in case you're wondering. It is, but he was going to give a speech about International Women's Day, but I'm not going to repeat that all in Russian because my viewers are not all entirely Russian. Once again, we do speak English here, so please, I'm not going to, just start speaking Russian just because there's portion of the viewership that's potentially, speaking Russian. Neither here or there. The point is that we're going to talk about International Women's Day. That's right, bitches, putting up the numbers. International Women's Day. Congratulations if you made it to the list of International Women's Day. Of course, this is, I don't know if it's today or if it's a day in March, to be honest with you. I don't know. Women get a lot of days. This one in particular is about International Women's Day, not to be mistaken with Local Women's Day, this is talking about women who are big women. I'm not talking about hefty, round women. I'm not talking about, the shot putter women. I'm not talking about, weightlifter. I'm not talking about women who are big in terms of, proportion. I'm talking about women who are big in terms of brand name. I'm talking about, global reach. Because again, it's called International Women's Day. It's not called it's not Mother's Day. We have Mother's Day. That's nobody cares about your mother today or whenever International Women's Day was. It's not her day. Do not be congratulating your lousy mom on international issue. Your mom, highly likely that she's not an international woman. At best, she's a local woman. She's probably a small figure and she's important. She's not international. So we can't be celebrating all the bitches today or whenever the day was. So it's international. So, celebrating big women, big names. Who's an international woman? Mother Teresa. That bitch is dead though. She's dead. So, better examples. Beyonce would probably be an international woman. Beyonce would, so congratulations to Beyonce. If you see Beyonce, congratulate her, all right? Because she's an international woman all across the globe, international sensation. She's probably like your boy. She's probably intergalactic like your boy. I'm not gonna, again, not as many people. And that, you get to a certain level where it's just, the air is thin up here in this bitch. And I could crack open a window, but the point is that it's International Women's Day. So it's probably if you see Taylor Swift, probably congratulate her for being an international. I don't want you to go up to your aunt, your 45-year-old lesbian aunt with multiple cats and be like, congratulations, it's International Women's Day. It doesn't apply to her. No one cares. No one cares about her. Like, a few people do, not to say she's not a bad person. This is not her fault. This is not her fault. This is to encourage women to have a bigger goal in mind. Do not just be like, what can I do locally? Maybe I'll get pregnant and give myself a little job and, love my husband. You're not going to make it to the international list of females, all right? Not with that attitude. So if you want to be international, work hard. Have a great pair of tits and ass. And if you don't, there is plenty of plastic surgery that could help you, assist you in that journey of becoming an international female, so we can celebrate you. I don't want to hear about your grandma. I don't want to hear about her experience from World War II, how she stayed back and helped the war effort. I don't want to hear about her ass, all right? International Women's Day, big names. Serena Williams, who else? Fucking, international bitches out there. It's Sabrina Carpenter, who, you might be pissed because you too found out that she's not an actual carpenter, that she's actually like a musician, and that's a little bit misleading. And but that's common. That's common within the celebrity realm. They have names that don't, you hear it all the time. Gerard Butler, not an actual butler. He's not one of those, like, he's an actor, but whatever. We're not, whatever. Sabrina Carpenter, you're like, oh, I love this bitch. She's bringing back, woodwork. She's not, dude. It's all a song and a dance. But nonetheless, international. So if you see Sabrina Carpenter, congratulate her, or other international women for that matter. It could be, in sports, entertainment, science. Do we have any blind chicks from our era who's international? Do we have any blind chicks no, I can't think of any but that gives you the time to become a blind international bitch right there. Put that flag down. And to the rest of the broads, fucking pick it up, you lazy, what are you gonna do? You're just fucking gonna sit back and be a baby farm factory? Yeah, that's still good, important work, but you're not gonna, again, we're talking about International Women's. If I'm not mistaken, it's a International Women's Day, okay? Not your, it's not a woman of the state. It's not a bi-coastal Women's Day. It's not that. It's not south of the border Women's Day. It's not that. It's International Women's Day, all right? So get it together. Make a name for yourself so you too can get celebrated on International Women's Day. I find that a lot of them are lazy. I find that a lot of them are lazy, or else they too would be celebrated, but they won't be because it's International Women's Day. Focused on lactation, and that's fine and dandy, but again, doesn't matter. Not all people have the same dreams and aspirations, and that's okay too, but don't be going out there and expecting to be, celebrated on International Women's Day. What have we been talking about? But in all seriousness, anthropic, that sounds like I don't like that. The name it feels like a disease. Oh, he's got that anthropic. Oh my God, keep him away. Get the hazmat. He's got the anthropic. Anthropic though, it's not a she, it's a company. Anthropic made a Claude AI, and they're suing. I believe I don't know if they're doing it. I don't know if they're thinking about doing it, but they want to tussle with the U.S. government, motherfuckers. Anthropic is going out to the U.S. government, to Pentagon, and they're like, oh, we don't want you guys to, because we created this Claude AI, and we don't want you to use it for mass surveillance and autonomous weapons. And next thing you know, they're being cast aside, and the U.S. government's like, well, you know what? You're kind of you're low key. You're not reading a room right now. We're kind of in the middle of somethings. All right, you're not picking up the vibes here, Anthropic. So we're just gonna put you aside for a second. Time out, Anthropic. You might be a national security, Anthropic. Just have a moment to yourself. Think about what the fuck you're saying, Anthropic. All right, because Anthropic said, we've made Claude AI, but we don't want you to use it for mass surveillance and autonomous weapons, which is, what have you been doing here? what are we even doing here, Anthropic? Claude, I don't know what to call you. All right, Claude? Anthropic, AI, Claude? What are we doing here? That's like having, that's like me having the cocks that I got and not putting it in the puss. Not putting in the puss. Why are we here then? That's like a 10 going out there and covering her goodies with with a hazmat suit. That's why do you even have it then? Why would you even why would you be blessed with all these gifts and then cover it up disgustingly cover it up? You might as well just walk into a wall of fire and just end it all. If you're gonna do that, just a waste. It might as well be like a Ferrari that's just parked in the garage. All right, so what are we even doing? So you built the device. It's meant for mass surveillance and autonomous weapons. We're in the middle of something here. All right, read the room, Anthropic. Check yourself. All right, there's plenty of other people that we could go to, and we already have. All right, there's plenty of other people and companies we could go to. So check your attitude. All right, all we want from you is to do mass surveillance and autonomous weapons. All right. Doggies that are walking around autonomously and biting and shooting off their back. Robots that can walk, detect stuff, see through walls, thermodynamics, shoot a fucking, a missile out their asshole and then fold back into a little suitcase and then, pop little wheels underneath itself so it carries itself to the airport. It's autonomous, takes care of it. And that's what we want. We want autonomous weapons and mass surveillance to keep tabs on everybody. All right, what do you think we're doing here? Why did you even build it then? All right, why did you even build it? That's like Google and Facebook and Insta and all of it. It's like, oh, we're not into collecting data and metadata and watching over things and analyzing it and then selling people stuff and also keeping tabs. It's like, what are we even doing here then, Anthropic? So take a second, check your attitude. All right, check yourself, Anthropic. Before we go out there, we've already gone out to other people, but please, it's like Coke creating this beautiful, delicious beverage, and all of a sudden saying it's like, don't drink the Coke. We don't want you to use the Coke for quenching your thirst. We just want to maybe use it in the toilet to get rid of the stains on the toilet bowl. It's like, no, maybe we'll do that too, but no, we're gonna drink the Coke, Anthropic. It's like having a vagina and not bleeding at least once a month. Why would you even have one if you're not going to bleed? It's the only reason I got my vagina, so I can bleed at least once a month. Why else would I get one then? Anthropic? Riddle me that. Sacramento has got a problem. You could say Sacramento, shout out to Sacramento. It's got a little problem. It's a cockflock problem. That's what I'm talking about. It's a cockflock problem. The Sacramento community in Sacramento has caught themselves in the middle of a cockflock problem. And that's when a random group of cocks, I'm not talking about biological males in the nude walking in the neighborhood and whipping it out. I'm talking get your dirty, disgusting mind out the gutter. All right, this is a family program. I'm not talking about men who are out there doing a decent exposure. We're talking about cocks, roosters, cock-a-doodle-doo. A cock or two is fine, but a whole flock may be an issue. Bunch of random roosters showed up in the Sacramento community and are waking everybody up at like 3 or 2 in the morning or 4 in the morning, and they're being roosters essentially, and it is a problem. And the community has reached out to the local officials to come and grab. I'm not quite sure how many of them there are. I think roughly around 100. I'm totally guessing this. It might be like 12. It might be 200. I don't know, but 100 feels like there was a lot. When I saw the video, it seemed like at least there was, I'd say probably around 100, 80 to 100. And that's too many. That's too many. And they've reached out to the local authorities, but again, given the fact that this is not on the, it's not up top on the priority list of things, because we got bigger issues everywhere, or in and around the world. They've got bigger issues to deal with. So maybe, a cock or two in your neighborhood might not mean that you're going to get that needed attention and services, but nonetheless, it's still an issue. So I'm here to help, here to assist you. What to do with an unexpected cock flock in your neighborhood? The noise is getting in the way of your sleep. If removing the cocks from the neighborhood is not feasible in the near future, I suggest you grab 2 sharp objects. This is to the people of Sacramento in the neighborhood. Grab 2 sharp objects. Stand up straight as I'm doing right now, and then grab the sharp object. Maybe like a knife, two knives, 2 forks, you know, or spoons. You can like, don't use the spoon end, but like use the handle. Flip it. Use the handle side. Ram it right there in your ears. Not too deep. Okay, this is again, just enough to make sure you go deaf. You want to see a little bit of bleeding out the ear holes, and once you see the blood coming down and everything, and people are you know, and you see people's mouths moving, but you can't hear anything. By the way, if you just saw my mouth moving and you didn't hear anything, you're an exception, because everybody else heard me talk while I seemingly didn't say anything. But that's just you out. That's just you out there. So I think you're going deaf, probably. Maybe you're already deaf. And if you started hearing me back again, I still suggest you get that looked at your local medical doctor, and maybe while you're there, get the cyst on your fallopian tubes also checked out. The point is, grab objects, ram it in your ear, start bleeding a little bit. Next thing you know, they could bring in 1,000 cocks. That flock could get even bigger, and it would bother you none. It would bother you none, because now you're deaf. You know, another option, if you're like, I don't want to commit to full deaf, then just do one ear. Just do one ear, and then when you're at night, like, sleep on one side, whichever, you know, go deaf in one side, and then just, like, you know, sleep on the other ear, and you're good. You're basically, you know, it's not going to be perfect. You'll still hear a little bit, but it's not as bad as full hearing. I'm trying to give you options. Of course, you could just say this is for a limited time only. Let's enjoy the roosters. Honestly, there's nothing cuter than little tiny cowboy hats on roosters. I'm telling you right now, put little tiny cowboy hats on the roosters, and it will not do much for the noise, but at least aesthetically, come on. Just a little tiny cowboy hat on roosters. I mean, what are we doing here, right? So do that. Otherwise, if you want to permanently deal with the problem, I would suggest that you'd, I'm not going to do this. I'm actually not, because I don't know the rules and laws of how this works, of a random flock of cocks coming into the neighborhood. I'm not telling you to hunt them down. It's not what I'm telling you to do. I'm not telling you to, you know, lay out a trap and have yourself a celebratory barbecue sesh after. I'm not telling you anything, because I don't know the rules and laws and regulations when it comes to. So I'm definitely not telling you to hunt these chickens and roosters. I'm just letting you know that, you know, maybe here's what you can do. If you don't want to go down the hunting path, bring down other animals in the neighborhood who will be a predator to the rooster, who, you know, so bring it. Who would take out the rooster? Bring in a fox. Bring in a couple of foxes, a sneaky little fox, couple of loose foxes in the neighborhood. You let them run astray for a few nights, and next thing you know, you're catching those Z's once again. It's in the evening. You're snoozing. Oh, you're snoozing. You can take your wife's toes out your ear, son. You can snooze, rest easy. If you like to keep them in your ear, because that's part of foreplay, leave them in. I'm not judging. I'm just saying, bring in a couple of foxes to eat the roosters, and that's just nature of life. That's just Elton John said it best. Circle of life. Remember that movie? The cartoon movie, Lion King? Circle of life. Bring in other animals. Of course, if you introduce the fox, then you get rid of the roosters, then maybe the fox is now a problem to the local pets. Like maybe it'll come after your cats and dogs, and that's not good. So you got a fox problem now. Okay, Sacramento, I thought this would be over. It'd be much easier for it to be over if it was just, but now you got a fox. But bring in a bigger animal to take out the fox. Bring in a bigger animal to take out the fox. There. Bring in a couple of coyotes to wipe out the fox population. Next thing you know, the coyotes have wiped out the fox population. Next thing, well, that'll still be a problem for your local pets, isn't it? Okay, fine. All right. If the coyotes are a problem, then you bring in the wolves. You bring in the wolves to get rid of the coyotes. Problem solved. A few of your children might go missing because of the wolves. I didn't say it's going to be a perfect solution, did I? With all the pressure coming down and saying, oh, fix it. I'm trying. Okay, fine. Fine. Then now you got wolves. All right. So bring in what? Just follow the circle of life, because it goes. All right. You bring in a bigger animal to get rid of the wolves. You bring in a couple of chimps. Bring in a couple of chimps. Cannibal chimps to take out the wolves. All right. And next thing you know, rest assured, no more wolves. A few cannibal chimps. We're now causing. Hey, at least look at it this way. At least you can catch some Z's, all right? Sure. You know, men, women, and children have been scalped, a few of them in the neighborhood because of the cannibal chimps. But that's not anything that can be, you know, we can just fix that. We can remedy that with bringing in who are the predators of chimps. Bring in one or two lions, dude. It's over. I think we just solved the whole chicken problem. The rooster problem. Follow the circle, like bring in the lions. The lions are coming in. It's done. One lion. All the chimps will be gone in like a week. All right? A couple of kids might get clawed, but whatever. That's just a cool scar. They will have cool scars. The lion's problematic, I'm not gonna lie. It's fucked up a couple of minivans, and the soccer moms are scared to take the children out to practice. Okay. We need to, all right, to remedy this problem, of course, you bring in elephants. You bring in a couple of one elephant, let it go hungry, and then let it stomp on the few lions that are loose in the neighborhood. Next thing you know, that cockflock problem is no longer an issue, and you got one giant elephant in the neighborhood. And honestly, it's not that bad. Look at it. It's not perfect. I get it. It's not perfect, but at least the problem that you initially had is now over with, and you ended up with a elephant who you could rent. You could rent the elephant to communities who are prone to elephant activities. I'm not gonna name names or point dots anywhere. Just letting you know that the elephant issue, and so you're gonna have to spend a few bucks, all right? Moral of that story is either live with it, stab yourself in the ear, or follow the circle of life, all right? Sacramento, you're welcome. I think that sums it up. Take care, my brethren and sister. And I can't be there in person, of course, to assist you, but do my best. You're welcome. Yeah, new study suggests that actually when you sit down to take a shit, when you're taking a shit, the new study suggests that you're supposed to push. I know what you heard. I know all your life. You're like, man, through my 10s, my 20s, my 30s, my 40s, my 50s, my 60s, 70s, my 80s, 90s, all my life I've been told to, you know, sit down on the can and not push. Wrong. They want you to spend a lot of time on the can. They want you to sit there and let your anus do the work. How much longer are you gonna waste sitting on the can? The new studies suggest that you sit and you start pushing the second you sit. You push, friend, you push. Sit down and push. I've been doing it myself for about a month, and I'm telling you, sure, low-key, that a bunch of my intestines just like floop out. It flooped out a few times, but I tucked it back, I pushed it back up, but now I'm telling you right now, I have just cut minutes, which, you know, exponentially, and it adds up to years over the long term. I've saved time. I've said, sure. Did it bleed a little bit? But homie, they want you not to bleed. They want you to be scared of a little blood. So the study suggests you sit down and you push, you really push. Just like, I suggest you start pushing on your way to the bathroom. If you get the inkling, if you get the feeling of just like, oh, it's at the door, it's about to burst through, you start pushing. Do not be alarmed if it slips out prematurely. A little bit of prematurely, you know, if it starts, you know, slipping, if it drops on the, pick it up. You're already there, you're already close to it, but pick it up. If it slides down your pants, if it slides, you just wipe it after. Everybody's like, you shouldn't push. It's against, you know, but that's what they said about coffee. That nothing in regards to pushing coffee, but you know, you hear that about everything. You're like, oh, coffee's going to give you, you know, erectiles. And then the next thing, this new study says the coffee is against the erectiles. And coffee will darken your areolas. Next thing you know, coffee, you need 7 cups of coffee to lighten the shade of your areolas. They'll say that a glass of wine will make you live longer. And the next thing you know, a glass of wine you might as well just take a shotgun and put it in your mouth and kill yourself. Now they'll say that you hear the study. So the point is that despite what you heard, push, friend, push. And yeah, am I wearing a diaper right now as I'm talking to you? Because it's just hanging, like my intestines are out. It's prolapse. But that's just part of life, man. That's just you want to limit yourself to a narrow worldview. You're like, I'm not going to deal with a prolapse day. You know what, homie? And you go ahead and waste that time. You go ahead and waste that time. See if I care. All right, I'm just going to have my diaper. All right, I'm just going to flip my intestine on my shoulder and walk down the street with all the time that I've saved. And guess what? You're like, I'm going to carefully plummet on the toilet seat and not push. Fucking wasting time there, son. You're wasting time, so push. Some good coffee right there. Earthquakes and tremors, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not quite sure what's going on, but again, a lot of things are going on in and around the world. I'm just a curious fella like yourselves out there. Heard that a bunch of places, when we always get earthquakes and tremors on planet Earth every now and again, but it is curious times given the fact that with the whole Middle East fiasco and whatnot, it's just peculiar, just noting it, just jotting it down, little, spidey senses going off, little gut feelings, also curious, also just, a little bit concerned overall globally. I've heard tremors, and I think Iran had a few earthquakes, 4.1 or 4.3. Again, this type of stuff happens all around the world nonetheless, but simultaneously, not exactly the same time, but around the same time, I think there were earthquakes, or not earthquakes, tremors in Nevada near a nuclear testing facility. Not quite sure if it's still a nuclear testing facility or a former nuclear testing facility, but nonetheless, a nuclear testing facility. And they felt tremors, fucking tremors. Oh, and also in China too. And there's speculation about potential underground nuclear testing. Who knows? Just putting it out there. Questions out there for the public, for myself, for you, for me, for you, for you, for me. Public, personal, for you, for me. A little bit for you, a little bit for me, for you. All right? Are we going to see nukes at one point or another? Are we going to see, because, it's definitely don't want to see them. Definitely don't want to see them anywhere, but also like it is, if it's those times are weird. And I'm hoping somehow miraculously everything in the grand scheme of things works out for everyone, for Team Humanity somehow, all of it with, as minimal damage to innocent people. But again, it's that any time we're going to speculate about potential nukes going off, it's right now. It's very close. So hopefully we will. I don't know how it's all. Of course, I don't know much. How is anything going to unfold? But I am curious. I was just, to remind myself, I'm like, maybe just, check out a couple of videos on Hiroshima and Nagasaki, and the moment the bombs dropped, there's like, hundreds of thousands of people instantaneously just fucking melted. So just curious, and then the aftermath of the radiation and the whole, you can't use this piece of land for some time, and but I guess long term out, everything still, I think everything, like one or two won't, it won't destroy the earth, but we definitely have enough to destroy the earth. It's not a question. I believe 9 countries have nukes, and I believe there's enough nuclear weapons out there to blow up the entire globe like many times over. So it's weird. It's weird times, but again, being extremely, hopeful, cautious, putting it out there that hopefully others are extremely cautious with whatever it is that they're doing, and that hopefully nothing major like that happens. On a brighter note, good times. When we I'm not gonna lie to you, it does look, the imagery of it does look, you know, it sucks that it happened in the past and definitely don't want to see, but the imagery, the mushroom cloud is aesthetically, because we don't get this, it's a big giant mushroom cloud, and just aesthetically, they're not the you know, not the murder of hundreds of thousands of people, not that portion of it, but the aesthetics of the mushroom cloud being man-made does look, you know, it does look cool on video, but maybe we could put that into use for, like, you know, maybe like in just movies, and it's pretty big. It's a big cloud, big mushroom cloud, like your cock out there. Congratulations for you. It's like your cock. The point is, ladies and gentlemen, let us skirt. Let us skirt. Yeah, just heard the tremors and the earthquakes. Nonetheless, we're here. Skirt with me, ladies and gentlemen. NASA in the 1990s apparently put 2,500 jellyfish polyps up into space to see how they react. And these are jellyfish, 2,500 of them, jellyfish polyps. And these are not like, I just want to make sure we're clear. I'm not talking about jellyfish who've got paws for lips, like dog paws for lips. I know they're called jellyfish polyps, but like they don't have paws for lips. That's what they call them in the early stages of development. That's what they call them, polyps, jellyfish polyps. They sent them up into space because they're like, let's see. And that's a lot. First of all, NASA, and I like NASA. I'm a fan of NASA. I'm a bit of an astronaut myself. Some say that I'm out there in the stratosphere, you know, doing my thing. But nonetheless, they sent 2,500 of them up in space to see how they react. These polyps grew up, somehow turned into 60,000 jellyfish. I don't know what happened, but we sent 2,500. Again, this is the 90s. 2,500 of them up in space, and then somehow we ended up with 60,000 jellyfish, or jellyfish. What's the plural of jellyfish? Jellyfish. Jellyfish. Sounds jellyfish. That's jellyfish when you're using more than just jellyfish. That's more than one jellyfish. Jellyfish. The point is, ladies and gentlemen, that they went up into space. They grew up to be full-sized jellyfish, and then they returned them to Earth. And we found out that apparently, if you grow up in space, you lose your sense of gravity and you can't coordinate on Earth. Apparently, they came back and they were all disoriented, and they couldn't work out where to float and where to, like, they forgot where up and down is. So they lost their sense of, like, navigation and how to deal with gravity, essentially, which might posit that we too may react in that same sense, or, you know, not same because we're not jellyfish. We're better. Of course, we're better, dog. Of course we're better. But we too might, you know, act or behave differently if we were to be, you know, if some of us in the future are to be born in outer space and then brought back to Earth. You might not have it because gravity doesn't impact you in space the same way. Of course, you know that, and I know that. It's just a bunch of scientists chit-chatting, nothing but a bunch of doctors and scientists and lawyers and architects and, you know, just big physics guys and gals just talking amongst each other, just everyday jargon in the scientific community. So we found out that, again, you lose your sense of, you don't know how to deal with gravity, apparently, which just made me think, I'm like, maybe we should take a look at the people who are handicapped, maybe, you know, paraplegics and quadriplegics. Are they potentially aliens? Because you see them here on Earth. Like Stephen Hawking, think about it, may have been an alien, no sense of gravity, no hand-eye coordination, but he could figure shit out, right? So potential new outlook to, you know, the handicapped, physically handicapped. If they're, you know, if they're fucking, you know, if they're like always constantly, they're, you know, fucking just watch me nay, you know what I'm talking about, just coming in with the loose hips, just coming in with that, you know, just a little bit like, maybe they're aliens because they don't know how to coordinate their bodies down here. Which, if they're not, but also it would make sense for us to send those guys up into space first, right? Send the handicapped, send the quadriplegics and the paraplegics up into space. If we're gonna, don't send don't send physically abled astronauts. Don't send like you know, Michael Phelps of astronauts. Don't send somebody who's like, you know, don't send Don't send, somebody who's like, because if they come back and like they were good on Earth, but they come back, like they spend too much time in space and they come back, or they have children, you have hopes and dreams. You're like, oh, I hope that they get to space and have babies in space, and then they come back, and then we can have their genes that have been in space, but also come back to Earth. But they come back with children who are basically of no use to us. Imagine that. Imagine your favorite celebrities out there going off into space, having children, and then they have children in space, return them to Earth, and then they're just fucking drooling from the mouth, wearing bibs, and fucking, working a joystick with their mind, maybe. So don't want that. Send the criminals, send the handicapped, send the blind, and the deaf too. And the deaf, put them in space. Just moral of that story is you're gonna lose your sense of gravity. So don't send the good. They're always like, oh, we gotta make sure we send the best, the fittest in the best. You don't want that, because what's the point? The whole thing is to go procreate, and But if they come back handicapped, then it's stupid. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it, NASA. And honestly, 2,500 was a bit much. No, 25. And how did they turn it to 60,000? How does that happen? Maybe I misread that. Maybe it was 6,000, which still 2,500 polyps into 6,000. I'm pretty because I looked at the number, like what happened to the 2,500 polyps that they magically turned into 60,000 jelly? How did that happen? Maybe like 10 or 12 would have done it. 10 or 12 would have, 20, 100 would have done it. You didn't need 25. That's too much. It's too much. Or maybe not enough. What do I know? Not enough. Send another 1,000. I don't care. A Texas mom, I believe her name is Aurora Price, was recently, she recently bought her children, bunk beds to put them in their room so they could sleep together. Baby boy on the bottom of the bunk bed, slightly older daughter placed on top, and then another baby off to the side, sleeping in the crib. The child on top was doing her thing. The bunk bed collapsed, fell down on the child below, the baby boy. Luckily, the rods that collapsed beneath the upper portion of the bunk did not pierce through the child below and did not murder the child. But this is, I suppose, a learning lesson for all of us, that if you're gonna have children, give them separate beds, because bunk beds are basically death traps. That's why they have them in prisons. That's why they have, I thought they were cool when I was a kid. I never got to experience them myself. It seemed like a cool, but I look at it now, I'm like, this is a death trap. And that's why we have them in prisons. We'd hope that most people who go to prison, when they're sleeping on the bottom, that we hope so that the top collapses and takes, because it's just too much. We're paying too much to keep them in there. We're paying too much. Either rehab them somehow if they're worth it, but if they're rapists and killers, you'd hope that the top bunk collapses on them, and just because it's taxpayer money. It's just too much. So that's what bunk beds are for. But also, low-key, moral of the story is, why stop with, if we're gonna do bunk beds, I'm not gonna lie to you, I still do kind of, I'm somewhere in the middle, I guess. I don't totally hate it, but I'm not in love with it as much as I was when I was a child, because I think I've grown beyond it. I'm above it now. It's one of not too many things I'm above, but bunk beds, I think I'm above bunk beds. I'm there right now. Fucking 36 and above bunk beds. That's how you feel good about yourself. That's right. The point is that maybe level it up. Maybe, because bunk beds have always been like, I've only seen 2 levels to bunk beds. We've never, it's been, this is 2026. But if you got 3 children, and I did see 3 children in the video, why was the baby not on get another level to the bunk bed? Make it a 3-tier bunk bed. Give it other level, keep going up. And that's the thing, a lot of people are like, man, I'm not sure how many children I'm gonna have, because I'm not sure if I can fit them into bunk beds. Am I having a total am I coming back to loving bunk? I think we just had a breakthrough. This is a moment where I changed my mind on a topic. I started when I was younger liking bunk beds, never experienced it, to going, becoming a 36-year-old and completely being above bunk beds, to now finding myself reverting to actually kind of low-key loving bunk beds. I kind of don't give them to prisoners and murderers and rapists. Bunk beds are too good for them. Make them stand up. Make them stand up like the new airplanes that make you stand. And that's hideous. That's hideous. Put bunk beds in airplanes. Hashtag airplanes and bunk beds. Merger. The point is that stack it up. 2 levels is too little. I totally see myself falling completely. And this podcast is now brought to you by only bunk beds. The only thing that's supporting this podcast is now Bunk Beds International. All right, we make bunk beds for not just children. Who cares about them? But you, full-grown adults. Bunk beds for adults. That's right. Do you want to fuck your wife and then go sleep up top, or have her go sleep up top? I suggest you keep her lower to keep her below. Because if she goes up high, the higher she goes, she's got more stuff to her tits are going to be fighting gravity harder. You want to keep her low to the ground. Keep them low to the ground. If she's got big tits, then yeah, I'm thinking long term. You might you see the onion. I see the layers to the onion. That's all right. I'm crying because the onion's got so many fucking You look at the onion and you're like, man, this is just this will go good with salad. And I'm just fucking teary-eyed because I can't not cry when there's onions. That's the onion. You look at the onion and you're like, man, these onions look like good vegetables, and maybe it'd be fine. Maybe we should cook them. And I just eat the onion raw. So it's me and onions. The point is that stack up the bunk beds. Low-key, I think this will actually. You could end homelessness with bunk beds. Fam, did we just solve homelessness? Forget the billions of dollars. Bunk beds are the answer, right? Low-level drug use, lower bunks. The higher the drug use, the higher make them work for it a little bit. I heard of a new drug. It's called goofball. It's a combo of meth and fentanyl, which is like, and that's called, I don't know what you do at this point. I don't know what you do with goofball, because you've seen the slumped over, you've seen a few of these fellas and ladies on the streets. It breaks your heart. They're slumped. They're contortionists. They should be in the circus at least, they should be on American Idol or, Britain's Got Talent, because they contort, and it's beautiful in a sense. But nonetheless, the point is, the higher the drug use level, the higher the bunk bed. Put the meth and the fentanyl way up top, like 20 levels of bunk beds. This podcast, once again, brought to you by Bunk Beds, and it solves homelessness. Moral of that story is, only have one child. One child would never endanger your other children's lives. That's the moral of the story. If you're gonna get more children, separate bedrooms, separate bunk beds. Put a bunk bed just for visual aspects, so they could see the bunk bed and you could reminisce about it and be like, in the olden days we had bunk beds, but now you get your own room. There you go. Problem solved. You're welcome. Another problem, of course, is the handicapped parking issue. Everybody's like, you gotta, don't know what to do about it. Everybody's confused about the handicap. Apparently it's not socially acceptable to beat another human to the point of paralysis, put him in your car, and drive to the handicap parking spot and park there. Apparently that's a faux pas. People don't like it. And clearly it says that if you want to park in this spot, you are to either be handicapped or have a handicapped person with you. Oftentimes you find yourself, brothers and sisters, am I right? You're not handicapped. And you're like, well, I got to get in there. And next thing you know, you're taking grandpa's cane and just whack right over his spine. Not complete paralysis, but enough so he can't move. Now you drag him on the ground. Get over here. Toss him in the Cadillac. Pull up to a parking spot, park in the handicap. Next thing you know, somebody comes and says, excuse me, there's no sticker on your car, you can't park it. And you point, you take the grandpa's cane and you poke him. He's coming in and out of consciousness. You poke him and you show the half paralyzed old geezer to the parking attendant. You're like, I've got one. I got one. All right. What else do you? I got one. I'm gonna get rid of them as soon as I'm done. I got one. And they're like, no, sir, you need to have a sticker. I thought a handicapped person is better than the sticker, but apparently, so I'm a little bit confused. Apparently, because they do, I may have misread this because the sign does clearly, visually speaking, it shows a handicapped person on a wheelchair. So I did low-key, I kidnapped a few handicapped people and threw them in the back of my car and drove up to the parking spot where it says for handicaps and people who acquaint handicapped folk. And again, I parked there, and next thing you know, parking attendant, I'm sorry, sir, you can't park. And again, I'm pointing, I'm taking this guy with his crutches. He's got broken legs on a wheel. I'm poking him with his own crutches, poking him in the face. I'm like, look, handicapped. Got him right here with me. I grab his face, bring it close to the fellas, and he's like, no, can't help you there. Must have a sticker. Apparently the stickers go way further than the actual handicap. So I'm a little bit confused. I'm sure you are too, but we'll figure it out. I'm not too concerned, to be honest with you. Moral of that story is I think it doesn't, apparently it means a lot to them that you gotta fill out the paperwork. Meanwhile, I just cripple this guy and put him in the back of my car. Apparently that's not good enough. Unbelievable. Ladies and gentlemen, I believe there was this is in Glasgow, Scotland. Scotland. It's short for God's land, or God. Was it England that was supposed to be God's land? No, Scotland. Scotland was God's land. That's why they call it Scotland, I think, if I'm not mistaken. But the point is, Glasgow. Never been. I'd like to visit, of course. You'd like to visit Glasgow? What? Yeah. Like to visit Glasgow? I would. Yeah. We're gonna visit together now. We're gonna go to Glasgow. But apparently, ladies and gentlemen, there was a vape shop in the middle of Glasgow in the city, and it caught fire, which I found, it's been horrible that it caught fire, but it happened that the vape shop caught fire and set fire to the entire giant ass building that's like a historical building. It's a beautiful building in the middle of Glasgow. But I did find that it was ironic that the fire emerged from a vape shop. It is a little bit ironic that the fire emerged from a vape shop, and I just thought maybe wonder what the name of the vape shop was. If you can't handle the smoke, get out of the vape shop. If the smoke is too thick for you, maybe smoking the vape isn't the right answer for you. Well, maybe that was the name of the. I'm not, again, the irony of the vape shop being the place where the fire. Again, I'm not happy about it. I'm not happy about it either. I'm not. All right, my beautiful Scottish people. I'm not. But the irony there that the fire emerged from a vape shop. It's a little bit funny. I'm hoping nobody got hurt. I'm hoping that everybody's got insurance. But it is ironic that the fire emerged from it is a little bit ironic when you say that the fire started from the vape shop. The smoke is too thick in this vape shop. Low-key, it might just be still one guy smoking a vape in there. It might just be, what if it was a really good vape? What if it was, how do we even know it was a fire, dude? What if the smoke settles down and you look inside the shop and it's just a Scottish fella smoking on his vape? Ever think about that, Dad? You didn't, did you? You wanted to jump to conclusions. If there is smoke, there is fire. I suppose that there was fire. There definitely was fire. I'm not happy about it. I'm not happy. The irony of it. The irony of the vape shop being the cause of the. Oh, you gotta look at the irony here. Shield of the Americas, Shield of the Americas. It's that time to join Shield of the Americas. I got excited because the Shield of the Americas is popping now, and I want to join the Shield of Americas. I just like it. I like it's a new coalition. All right, it's a bunch, and then we're fighting the cartel against the drugs. It's fighting the cartel. It's the coalition. Shield of the Americas. Shield of the Americas. It's a coalition of governments coming together to fight the cartels. We're gonna get cartels out of here. We're gonna fight the drugs. We're gonna do the drugs. We're gonna fight the drugs. We're gonna do the drugs. We're gonna be fighting the cartel, all right? So this is what I'm bringing to the table. Fighting abilities. How, you ask? Glad you did. By looking like I'm a buyer, by looking like I'm a buyer of drugs, right? You send me in there from the Shield. By the way, I love that it's called the Shield of America. The Shield of Americas. I would like a badge of sorts. I would like a giant badge. Could I have like a badge? I do want the badge. I'm not gonna fucking walk in any room, just flash my badge. Shield of Americas, fighting cartels and drugs. Get down, everybody down. I'm not quite sure what kind of badge I want. Do I want the badge to be just like metal and I just flash it, or straight up, or one of those badges that's got like a flap on top and you could like flip and show the badge. Shield Americas, find the cartels. So I'm gonna look like a purchaser of drugs, all right? Spring, summertime's around the corner. I catch myself a tan, right? I go to Colombia. We go to Colombia, right? I'm there buying cocaine, buying that cane, buying that pure, all right? I look like a buyer. I walk in there. I'm here to buy all your cocaine. Next thing you know, Colombians come in with all the cocaine. Next thing you know, I'm being picked up by a bunch of cartel members. They're loving me for some odd reason. They love me. I don't know why. It's just the way it goes. They're picking me up in their arms, cradling me like a little baby, and just like rubbing cocaine on my gums. And I'm like, I don't even do coke, but this is what I'm willing to do for the fucking Shield of Americas, dog. This is what you got this hairy armed Colombian fella rubbing cocaine on my gums, and I'm just like playing along. Oh, hey, you like the cocaine on your gums? I'm like, I fucking love the cocaine on my gums, Javier. I fucking love it. Where do I get more? Because I want all of it. I'm buying all of it. And next thing you know, they put me in a Jeep, a drop top Jeep. Guess what? Who's driving it? It's a beautiful Colombian chick with no top, just tits, just loose tits in a Jeep, right? We're going in the back, but the woods. We're going in the jungle now. We're in the middle of the jungle, hopping and skipping over snakes, rattlesnakes, all sorts of weird plants that might kill an elephant. Those fucking weird plants that, you get up the whiff of it and you die. Dragon's breath, that one. We drive past those, we get to the compound, and there's a whole ton of cocaine there. And I'm like, I want all of it. And we celebrate me wanting to buy all the cocaine. They take me into, there's a mountain of cocaine, and they drag me, they toss me into the mountain of cocaine, because that's what they do when they love you. They toss you in the mountain of cocaine. I'm like, this is just way too much fucking cocaine. I get, long story short, I get addicted to cocaine. I spend a lot of time in Colombia. I don't come back for like 5 years, and now we're fucking in there. Right now they think that I'm embedded with them. I'm a Colombian drug lord in about 7 to 8 years. Next thing you know, long game, baby. It's been 10, 15 years. I've accumulated some personal wealth that I've put into some offshore accounts. We come in together as the Shield of the Americas and shut it down. Until next time, ladies and gentlemen, I want you to get out of the smoke if it's too thick then. Peace out. Get out of here.